Today we take a visit back to 1985, a time when martial arts was still supported and sought after in many neighborhoods of New York. We take a look at a now cult classic movie, a movie where we learn to play craps like
Soul Brother number one?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now, it is your turn. Do not step on the line.
Right.
My man.
Right on.
The Last Dragon. A script written by Louis Venosta and then bought by Barry Gordy, the legend who created Motown Records. A movie that only took 44 days to shoot all the scenes. The movie currently has a 58% viewer rating and an 86% audience rating from Rotten Tomatoes on the date of this recording. The Last Dragon mixed martial arts, music, supernatural adventure, bruceploitation, comedy, and dance to an amazing, dazzling effect. The movie stars Leroy Green, played by Taimak, also known as Bruce Leroy, for his obsession of Bruce Lee, which shows with his very similar bodysuit worn by Bruce in The Game of Death, who has dreams of becoming a great martial artist, like his idol, Bruce Lee. His master explains that he has reached as far as he can take him, but must search for another master in order to reach the final level of martial artistry known as the Last Dragon. Leroy doesn't fully understand, so his master gives him a possession that supposedly belonged to Bruce Lee for inspiration, and gives him some more directions as to where he might find this master called Sum Dum Goy. This would be the first and only movie role played by Taimak, a non-actor with a history in both martial arts and dance, who proved to be exactly the perfect cast choice. Call it lucky or just great timing, but it almost wasn't to be, as Taimak was actually the last star to be cast on this movie, after failing his initial tryout horribly, thinking the audition was more like a martial arts showcase. It's a really positive story, and Bruce Leroy is one of the first ever on-screen black superheroes, which is a big part of its success in my opinion. There are others that would also make their film debut in this movie. A very young Keisha Knight Parham, who would go on to star as Rudy Huxtable in The Cosby Show.
But when I get older, I'm not lying for any man. Any man that wants to be with me, he's going to have to do the lying.
A young Ernie Reyes Jr., who you might know from the role of Keno in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, one of the original good ones, The Secret of the Ooze. And a very small role with no words, we get to see Carl Anthony Payne II, who would go on to play Theo's best friend Cockroach in The Cosby Show, and then in the 90s hit, he would play Cole, the best friend of Martin Payne on the series Martin. Although not his first movie appearance, we would also get to see a cameo appearance from the future Shameless star, William H. Macy. The main love interest and co-starring actress would be the ever so beautiful Denise Matthews, also known as Vanity.
I would like to see her.
Well, who wouldn't, fool? I would like to see her. No way the queen is gonna be looking at no walking fortune cookie. I would like to see her.
Vanity was the ex-girlfriend and former protege of Prince, who left the artist and the movie Purple Rain to accept the role in this movie for her reasons. You may remember her from the group Vanity 6 with the hit song Nasty Girl. Vanity plays Laura Charles, a VJ/artist that hosts a video show out of her club called Seventh Heaven.
Never say never at heaven's elevator door, because once you dare, you can't get it up anymore.
The two main characters meet by chance, and sparks begin to fly secretly between each other, as no action is taken to advance the relationship, towards the two in no hurry.
Who are you?
I am Leroy. Leroy Green.
It's nice to meet you.
Oh, it's nice to meet you.
I need a drink. Why don't you come inside?
We also get a taste of some of the fashion in New York at the time thanks to his little brother's fashion sense. We also get to see some comedy watching a little dance routine of these so-called fly guys in their own opinion. Another martial artist playing the main villain, who is the meanest, the prettiest, baddest mofo low down around this town. Also known as the Shogun of Harlem, sees Leroy as the only obstacle to being acknowledged as the true master of martial arts in the city. He chases and harasses Leroy to a challenge, which is refused and in turn infuriates Sho'nuff, who vows that he will defeat Leroy and spends most of this movie causing havoc. But that's not the only thing that Bruce Leroy has to worry about. Another villain in the movie, a video arcade mogul turned music producer, Eddie Arcadian, sends his men to apply some pressure to the Seventh Heaven VJ host, Lord Charles, in hopes of getting his girlfriend, Angela Varocco's new music video featured on her show, who might I say has a very similar look and style to another amazing artist of the time. The kidnap attempt is thwarted by Leroy, who easily fends off the thugs. He loses something valuable during the struggle, and Leroy goes looking for Lord Charles with the help of his little brother Richie in hopes of retrieving said item. The movie grossed over $25 million worldwide on a $10 million budget, with over $1 million going to the club scene with the wall-to-wall TV screen showing the videos that Berry Gordy used to strategically help promote some of his artists from his Motown label, like DeBarge's Rhythm of the Night video, as well as a substantial amount towards special effects. These special effects from the fight scenes were way ahead of their time for 1985, especially when considering the amount of money spent on the film as a budget. Although many scenes and jokes clearly date the movie, it has still aged well enough to entertain decades later. The movie earned more recognition and more fans through TV screenings, re-releases, and many hip-hop artists who've referenced it throughout the years. Not to forget the many phrases and quotes that you may not even know derived from the movie, such as, "Hey my man, what it look like? Kiss my Converse," or "Who's the master?" So what happened to this movie? Why didn't The Last Dragon earn more money or produce any more starring roles for Taimak, with it being such a cult classic in New York and the East Coast? Well, first and foremost, there was little to no promotion for this movie outside of the black market and neighborhoods, as was stated in a recent interview with VladTV and Taimak. The link's provided in the description if you want to take a look at that full interview. However, still without the promo, it went all the way to number 2 in the country, but was then halted when the same production company put their money and marketing machine behind Police Academy, another cult classic in its own right. I still make sure to catch this movie anytime a TV screening comes on. If you want to see some old school action, want to see one of the prettiest girls of the 80s, make sure you check out this movie. I provided a link in the description if you want to take a look while we're going through these hard times and stuck at home. And again, remember, the movie was all about
the power of the glow.
Yeah, the party jumping off, hey, we putting on a show, trying to catch a vibe. We do this every time, like na 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 na.